Lesson 72. N-E-S-S. Reason. Illness. Tiredness. Darkness. How do we sometimes form a noun from an adjective?
We sometimes form a noun from an adjective by adding the letters N-E-S-S to the adjective.
Give me an example.
Late, lateness.
When did you have your last illness?
I had my last illness 2 weeks ago.
What's the reason for tiredness?
The reason for tiredness is too much work, not enough sleep, etc.
What's the reason for darkness at night?
The reason for darkness at night is that the world turns completely round every 24 hours.
Alone. What's another way of saying he lives on his own?
Another way of saying he lives on his own is he lives alone.
Do you live alone or with other people?
I live with other people.
Do you prefer to go on holiday alone?
No, I don't prefer to go on holiday alone. I prefer to go in company.
Already. Has the lesson already finished?
No, the lesson hasn't finished yet. It's still in progress.
Are you already able to speak English without making any mistakes?
No, I'm not able to speak English without making any mistakes yet. I still make some mistakes.
Are we already in spring?
No, we aren't in spring yet. We're still in winter.
Have we already studied stage 4 of the Callan method?
Yes, we've already studied stage 4 of the Callan method.
Thrown. What are the 3 forms of throw?
The 3 forms of throw are throw, threw, thrown.
Have you ever thrown anything away by mistake, which was worth a lot of money?
Yes, I've thrown something away by mistake, which was worth a lot of money.
What?
A ring.
In spite of. Despite. Why do some people do dangerous sports in spite of the danger?
Some people do dangerous sports in spite of the danger because they find them exciting.
Name some foods that are very popular despite being bad for the health.
Some foods that are very popular despite being bad for the health are chips, cakes, ice creams, etc.
Do you think it's worth learning a foreign language in spite of the fact that it's quite difficult?
Yes, I think it's worth learning a foreign language in spite of the fact that it's quite difficult.
In spite of studying a lot of words and grammar, do you still find English a little difficult?
Yes, in spite of studying a lot of words and grammar, I still find English a little difficult.
Anyone. Someone. No one. What words can we use instead of anybody, somebody, and nobody?
Instead of anybody, somebody, and nobody, we can use anyone, someone, and no one.
Did anyone come into the classroom at the beginning of the lesson?
Yes, someone came into the classroom at the beginning of the lesson.
Who went out of this room 2 minutes ago?
No one went out of this room 2 minutes ago.
Borrow. What's the opposite of the verb to lend?
The opposite of the verb to lend is to borrow.
Should we always give back the things we borrow?
Yes, we should always give back the things we borrow.
If you forgot to bring a pen with you to school, would you have to borrow one from another student?
Yes, if I forgot to bring a pen with me to school, I'd have to borrow one from another student.
My own. Emphasize. Give me an example of the word own after a possessive adjective.
This is my own book.
Do you live in your own house or flat, or does it belong to somebody else?
No, I don't live in my own house. It belongs to somebody else.
Do you think this is probably my own book, or do you think it belongs to the school?
I don't think that's your own book. I think it belongs to the school.
Skin. What's this?
It's your skin.
Wire. Electricity. Connection. Wireless. Wi-Fi. Hyphen. What do we use wire for?
We use wire to carry electricity, to connect things together, etc.
What do we mean by a wireless internet connection?
By a wireless internet connection, we mean that we can connect to the internet without connecting wires to our computer.
What can we say instead of a wireless internet connection?
Instead of a wireless internet connection, we can say Wi-Fi.
Do some bars and cafes offer free Wi-Fi to their customers?
Yes, some bars and cafes offer free Wi-Fi to their customers.
Spell the word Wi-Fi, please.
W-I-F-I.
Boil, fry, roast. Tell me 3 ways of cooking potatoes.
3 ways of cooking potatoes are boiling, frying and roasting.
Do you prefer fried eggs or boiled eggs?
I prefer fried eggs.
How long does it take to boil potatoes?
It takes about 20 minutes to boil potatoes.
Brick. What's a wall normally built of?
A wall is normally built of bricks.
As well. 2. Also. Where do the words as well, to, and also usually go?
The words as well and to go at the end of the sentence, but the word also usually goes after the first auxiliary verb.
Give me an example of each, please.
I will be sleeping at 3 a.m. My sister will be sleeping as well. My mother will be sleeping too. My brother will also be sleeping.
Give me an example of also when there is no auxiliary verb, please.
I love coffee and I also love tea.
Lesson 73. Future continuous. I will be speaking. When do we use the future continuous?
We use the future continuous for an action that will be in progress at a particular time in the future.
Give me an example, please.
I will be working at this time tomorrow.
What do you think you will be doing at this time tomorrow?
I think I'll be studying at this time tomorrow.
Will you still be studying English in 50 years' time?
No, I won't still be studying English in 50 years' time.
Where do you think you'll be living in 10 years' time?
I think I'll be living in London in 10 years' time.
Inch. Foot. Yard. What's this?
It's an inch.
What's this?
It's a foot.
What's this?
It's a yard.
How many centimeters make an inch?
About 2.5 centimeters make an inch.
How many inches make a foot?
12 inches make a foot.
How many feet make a yard?
3 feet make a yard.
Is a yard longer than a meter?
No, a yard isn't longer than a meter, it's shorter than a meter.
Consequently, when we run 100 yards, do we run further than 100 meters?
No, when we run 100 yards, we don't run further than 100 meters, we run less than 100 meters.
Chain. Are you wearing a chain?
No, I'm not wearing a chain.
What do we mean when we say someone is a chain smoker?
When we say someone is a chain smoker, we mean that he or she smokes one cigarette after another without stopping, like a chain.
Rise. Constantly. What's my book doing?
Your book's rising in the air.
Does the sun rise early in winter?
No, the sun doesn't rise early in winter, it rises late.
Is the cost of living constantly rising these days?
Yes, the cost of living is constantly rising these days.
What would you do if this table slowly began to rise into the air without anybody touching it?
If this table slowly began to rise into the air without anybody touching it, I'd run out of the room, etc.
Belt. Are you wearing a belt?
No, I'm not wearing a belt.
Hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. What do the words hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly mean?
The words hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly mean every hour, every day, every week, every month, and every year.
Do most radio stations have hourly traffic news?
Yes, most radio stations have hourly traffic news.
Which daily newspaper do you read?
I read the Evening Standard.
Do you read any weekly newspapers?
No, I don't read any weekly newspapers.
How many hours of English do you study monthly?
I study 40 hours of English monthly.
Where do you usually go for your yearly holidays?
I usually go to Spain for my yearly holidays.
Allow, let, every day. What's the difference between allow and let?
The difference between allow and let is that allow has the infinitive with to after it, whereas let has the infinitive without to after it.
Give me an example, please.
The doctor allowed me to change my appointment. The doctor let me change my appointment.
What sometimes happens when we let people borrow things that belong to us?
When we let people borrow things that belong to us, they sometimes don't return them.
Do you think it's a good idea to allow children to do as they please?
No, I don't think it's a good idea to allow children to do as they please.
Do you think it's dangerous these days to let people we don't know enter our houses?
No, I don't think it's dangerous these days to let people we don't know enter our houses.
Do you think more people would kill each other if the law of the country let them?
Yes, I think more people would kill each other if the law of the country let them.
Which is it right to say? I was let or I was allowed?
It's right to say I was allowed.
Why?
Because we cannot use let in the passive voice.
Do you think students should be allowed to use their mobile phones during lessons?
No, I don't think students should be allowed to use their mobile phones during lessons.